So Ben Crocker and Tiernan Bradley just draw in a very, very, very good fight. But I think it's one that Tiernan Bradley definitely won. I don't think you can have it as a draw. I really don't think you can have that fight as a draw. I think Bradley definitely won the fight. Bradley definitely won a close fight. Put it that way. It was close, but Tiernan Bradley definitely won, and I think was done a bit dirty there. If I'm being completely honest with you, don't know what the judges were watching, and I don't know how one of them actually gave the fight 97-93 to Ben Crocker. I don't know what that clown was watching. But yeah, Bradley won the fight in my opinion. I think he was too skilled for Crocker, and Bradley was the main aggressor. Bradley was the ring general. Bradley was the one putting the better shots together. Crocker came on well late, I think, but I feel like Bradley cruised the early and mid rounds, in my opinion. Bradley very clearly cruised. I think Bradley cruised basically, up to 7 rounds, and rounds 8, 9, 10. I think Crocker probably took those rounds. Other than that, I think Bradley was very convincing in that fight. To be completely honest, early on and in the mid rounds, Bradley was the one putting his shots together better. Bradley's counter jab was very good throughout as well. But I do think he tired, though. I do think he tired. But overall, though, Bradley's power was deadly in that fight. Bradley was causing way more damage in that fight than what Crocker was. Crocker just doesn't really have any power at all. Bradley does. Bradley was clearly the way bigger puncher in there than what Ben Crocker was. And Bradley was also way better with the counters, but he just tired out of it, and that's what let him down. It's because, he hasn't been 10 rounds before, and that's kind of what let Bradley down late on in the fight. If that wasn't the case and he had done 10 rounds before, he probably would have cruised the fight. There were very close rounds in there, though, early to mid rounds. There were close rounds in, but I just always felt that Tiernan Bradley was always doing enough to take those rounds. And, he was just good at being able to start the combinations and end the combinations well. And whenever Crocker tried to start something, Bradley was always very good at ending those combinations, getting a good flush, good counter jab through, which was effective. And, I feel like the backhand of Bradley was very good throughout as well. I feel like Bradley was good at working the body and working his way up to the head. I feel like Bradley did that well. I feel like Crocker was just too basic quite a lot of the time in that fight for Bradley. And Bradley was very clearly the better and more effective fighter throughout the fight. Without a shadow of a doubt, he was. I think Bradley was very good at being able to push Crocker back. Crocker couldn't really push Bradley back in that fight at all. It was very rare that happened. Bradley was just, very good at being able to stand his ground throughout in that fight. And, Crocker just stood so upright. And it was in round 6, I think it was, where Bradley seemed to really hurt Crocker and have him on edge a bit, wobbled him a bit in that round. And, Bradley's power was really showing, and it was effective in that fight. Bradley was very good at catching Crocker off guard. And whenever Crocker had his chin a bit too high in the air, Bradley bloody punished him for it. And I think he was done dirty in that fight. I really do. He was the ring general. He was landing the bigger shots, and his work was much cleaner as well. There was no massive standout, amazing moment for Ben Crocker in that fight ever, to be honest. I mean, he had moments in spirits. There weren't really any. He wasn't really able to fully really be dominant in a round, and a certain dominance in a round. When Bradley won Bradley won rounds where he was dominant in those rounds. Crocker couldn't. I mean, as I said, there were some close rounds, but Bradley was more convincing in the rounds that he won than the rounds that Crocker won. That's what I'm trying to say. The rounds that Crocker won were close. Some rounds that Bradley won, they were close, but some rounds that Bradley won, they were convincing in Bradley's favor. I just feel like he did enough to win. I really do. I think the jab of Bradley was very good early on to mid-rounds, and he did kind of neglect that a bit late on. And early on and mid-rounds, a lot of the shots Bradley was able to set up behind that jab, and the counter shots were coming behind that jab, or he was setting them up nicely with his backhand, or, we saw some nice counter shots to the body by Bradley. And he was starting and ending combinations, exchanges, That's what's effective, and that's what the judges need to see more of. And, Crocker's big for the division, and this was Bradley's first fight at super lightweight. And Bradley stood his ground so well and just wasn't phased. Crocker hasn't got power, but he is a strong guy. But he wasn't able to bully Bradley at any point in that fight, Crocker. Never at any point was he able to bully Bradley. I think Bradley was very good at, taking away the lead hand of Crocker. I thought Crocker was all right in the first round with his lead hand and with his jab, but Bradley just took that away from him nicely. And what I did like from Bradley is his jab, lead took to the body. We saw that a lot, or, a jab to the body, hook upstairs. He was very quick when he was doing it, Bradley. And he was very consistent with that throughout the fight. Jab, lead, hook upstairs. It was very good from Bradley. And, he was able to keep up a good pace in the rounds that he was winning, apart from the final 3, where it was very clear to see he was tired. And, to be fair, we all do know the rule that, the judges do like to favor fighters who do come on late. And that is what Crocker did do. But, yeah, I feel like we got the wrong decision here, but I would happily welcome a rematch, though I do want to see a rematch. I think today was a very good fight no matter what. And, yeah, let's just get the rematch on, I think. I feel like the rematch would be very good no matter what. But I feel like Bradley's the one who can make more adjustments to his game than what Crocker can. And I feel like that was clear to see in the fight as well. Bradley was able to make more adjustments in that fight throughout round by round. Bradley made some adjustments to what he was doing. Crocker just goes out and does the exact same thing every single time. And, it's just basic, and he was there to be figured out by Tiernan Bradley in that fight. It was clear to see. So, yeah, anyway, they're my thoughts on the fight. But yeah, let's get the rematch done. That should be an interesting one. Anyway, thank you for watching. Another good show by GBM as well. Fair play to them. Anyway, thanks for watching.